Just watch Northwest News Channel 8, where the news comes first. Voted Oregon's best newscast by the Associated Press.
In Bosnia, children pay the price of war. Cluster bombs kill on the eve of a ceasefire. Pope John Paul II wraps up his whirlwind U.S. tour and leaves behind a message of hope. And in Los Angeles, a time for racial healing, the aftermath of the O.J. Simpson trial.
From NBC News, this is NBC Nightly News, reported by Giselle Fernandez.
Good evening, everyone. The slaughter of children in Bosnia tops our news tonight. On the eve of a scheduled ceasefire, Bosnian Serbs unleashed a series of deadly cluster bombs that targeted civilians. At least 8 were killed, 80 injured, and most of them young. NATO warplanes took to the air to retaliate, but were forced back by bad weather. NBC's Keith Miller reports the peace process is in deeper jeopardy tonight, with war raging on despite the push for peace.
Bosnia, on the brink of a ceasefire, is still a place of suffering. At least 6 people were killed today and up to 30 wounded in a cluster bomb attack on a Muslim refugee center near Tuzla. Most of the dead and injured were children. Bosnian Serb planes reportedly carried out 4 attacks today, prompting NATO warplanes to take to the air. NATO said it responded to a request from the UN to locate and neutralize Serb heavy guns around Tuzla, but bad weather and darkness forced the mission to be called off. The Bosnian government called today's attack an act of terrorism, and the UN confirmed the use of cluster bombs, a violation of international law.
I would like to stress that this kind of weapon, cluster bombs, is a very destructive weapon. It's not at all an accurate weapon. It's a real weapon, and we do consider it really as a terrorist weapon.
In Geneva, the framework for enforcing any future peace plan took a step forward. Defense Secretary William Perry and his Russian counterpart agreed their troops should work together in Bosnia, but they couldn't agree on who would be in charge. There was little talk of a peace deal in Bosnia. There has been fierce fighting all along the confrontation lines in the northwest of the country. With the ceasefire due to begin at midnight tomorrow, all sides in the conflict are attempting to gobble up more territory. But with scenes like this, and NATO once again threatening airstrikes, the peace process could be overtaken by war. Keith Miller, NBC News.
Prayers for peace in Bosnia have come often from Pope John Paul II, who tonight is wrapping up his 5-day visit to the U.S. The pontiff came as a pilgrim of peace, addressing his words to American Catholics and government leaders. He urged adherence to traditional values and left behind a message of hope. NBC's Bob Abernathy reports on the day's events in Baltimore.
With gospel singing rocking Oriole Park, the excited crowd watched on a giant television screen as John Paul arrived at the airport. And then, to more modern singing, there he was. Recalling Baltimore's deep Catholic roots and history of tolerance, the Pope asked, "How ought we to live?" His answer, "Democracy cannot survive without a moral foundation."
Every generation of Americans needs to know that freedom consists not in doing what we like, but in having the right to do what we ought.
It was a sunny, festive day with Baltimoreans delighted the Pope was in their town.
I'm not Catholic, but I still appreciate him. I appreciate his morals.
Very spiritual. I think it's as close to being with God as you possibly can be.
One of John Paul's central themes is the obligation of the rich to help the poor. Today, to dramatize that, he invited several people served by Catholic Charities to have lunch with him at a soup kitchen.
Donna Campbell was one of those invited. She's out of a job, but she helps out at a church-run Head Start program. All 3 of her children have attended Head Start.
I never thought in a million years I'll be sitting in the same room with them.
But today, there she was, right next to the Pope, along with others who help and are helped by Catholic Charities. Donna wondered afterwards whether her life will change.
I'm hoping it has better days ahead for me and my family.
And Donna's daughter, Brittany, age 6.
He gave me a hug when we were standing in line, and he kissed my forehead.
You gonna wash it?
Tonight, after a private meeting with Vice President Gore, the Pope left for Rome, tired but gratified that his message of hope had been preached and heard. Bob Abernethy, NBC News, Baltimore.
John Paul's enormous popularity has been evident the last few days. What's not widely known is that he's also a practical pope when it comes to business. These days, the Vatican is being managed like a corporation with John Paul as CEO. Alan Chernoff has the story.
The Roman Catholic Church, powerful but not as wealthy as one might think. For years, it operated in the red until it began restructuring itself like a business to improve its bottom line.
This is really a revolution there, so you might say the company is sort of downsizing a bit.
The revolution's leader is Cardinal Edmund Sciacca, former Archbishop of Detroit, recruited by the Pope to head the economic prefecture, in effect, chief budget officer. Sciacca has been improving efficiency, modernizing operations, and keeping a lid on expenses, allowing the Holy See to pull out of a deep deficit. A deficit at the Vatican? Home to some of the world's greatest art treasures? The Vatican city-state, which includes the museum, is in the black. But finances of the Holy See, the church's operations center, are separate. Collections at parishes are also separate. Virtually all of that money remains with local archdioceses. So even while appearing strong, the Vatican was running in the red.
In 1991, the deficit was $87 million, but by last year, using a combination of modern management techniques and some high-tech tools, the church posted a profit of $400,000.
Among the changes at the Vatican, computers are now used in the budget office. There has been streamlining in payroll and purchasing. Operating costs for Vatican Radio have been reduced, and the Papal Foundation in Philadelphia helped restructure the Vatican printing works.
It increased its efficiency, productivity, and they were able to manage with, I think, about 25 fewer employees.
No layoffs, though. Staff cuts came through attrition and retraining. The Holy See is even becoming more aggressive in managing its $550 million endowment fund, moving out of gold and into more stocks and bonds. All the changes have put the church in robust financial health. It's a turnaround which some are describing as miraculous. Alan Chernoff for NBC News, New York.
When NBC Nightly News continues in a moment, a time for racial healing in Los Angeles in the wake of the Simpson trial. And later, on Pacific Time, high times at the world's largest balloon fest.
If you have minor arthritis pain, then keep your eyes on this hand, and you'll see something really remarkable. A pain reliever that can turn up the heat on arthritis. Just minutes after applying ultra-strength Bengay, you can actually see the heat using thermographic photography. That's because ultra-strength Bengay is the strongest, most advanced Bengay ever, and the only one with the powerful heating relief of 3 pain relievers, and it'll last for hours. Try ultra-strength Bengay and turn up the heat on arthritis.
1, 2. Good evening, everybody. We're to honor John Santos, the youngest executive to escape. I mean, retire from our firm. And at this point, the only thing we can say to you, John, is thanks. Enjoy the islands. You'll be missed. And by the way, who gets your office? John, congratulations. There's to you.
Dateline Tuesday, Colleen says her breast implants destroyed her health.
I feel so bad.
So she sued the company that made them and joined a national crusade.
These implants will cost you your life.
But she had another problem. Her husband was a top executive for the company she was suing. A drama you won't forget. Dateline NBC, Tuesday.
This week on Today, the legacy of the Simpson trial. What will it mean for the justice system? Also, advice on insurance for your kids and actor Ralph Fiennes. This week on Today.
Mystery surrounds the whereabouts tonight of O.J. Simpson. A newspaper in the Dominican Republic reports that Simpson is heading there to marry actress Paula Barbieri. Sources in Los Angeles deny that. Now, coping with the aftermath of the trial, In Los Angeles tonight, efforts toward healing have begun. Here's NBC's Mike Betcher.
The curious still come to the site of the double homicide to see for themselves, anxious for a first-hand perspective of a murder, a trial, and a verdict which still sparks vehement debate. In a videotaped pep talk, L.A. Police Chief Willie Williams implored his officers to move past the verdict.
It's time somehow to get your and my morale back up to where it should be.
But for many people in this city, that is more easily said than done. Last night, for example, the National Organization of Women sponsored a march in remembrance of Nicole Brown Simpson. To many of them, moving on now would mean moving too quickly past the issue of domestic abuse. In a city anxious for some peace and searching for answers, this Sunday morning especially, church was the place to be.
O.J. Simpson.
But the message depended on what church and in what neighborhood. At Attorney Johnny Cochran's church, there was a call to lower the rhetoric's volume.
Only a fool goes to bed angry. Anger is like a snake, and when he bites you, he can destroy you.
At All Saints Episcopal in Pasadena, reconciliation was the theme.
For if we continue to divide and if we stay silent and separate, justice of any sort will never come.
But a sense of what is just and what is not, according to recent polls, is split along racial lines. At the First AME Church in Los Angeles, Reverend Cecil Murray said that whites should try to understand the black perspective of the verdict.
White people are shocked. We're not going to take this. What are you shocked about? You just experienced something that was unpopular. We've been experiencing that for 300 years.
In a city where once again the raw nerve of racial division has been exposed, sermons provided some guidance, but may not have changed many minds. Mike Betcher, NBC News, Los Angeles.
More insights into what happened in the Simpson jury room tomorrow morning on Today, when juror number 8, Sheila Woods, is interviewed by NBC's Katie Couric. In other news tonight, a frustrating false lead in the hunt for the elusive Unabomber. Police in Evanston, Illinois, at first thought a man arrested on a routine traffic violation was linked to the deadly bomber because of suspicious equipment found in his van. But authorities tonight are now certain he has no connection to the case. The Unabomber has eluded federal agents for 17 years after killing 3 people and injuring 23 with 16 deadly mail bombs. When NBC Nightly News continues, guns, gangs, and cyberspace.
I'd love a house of my own.
With bay windows.
And the kids upstairs.
On a ranch house?
If you're dreaming of your first home, here's good news. Great Western has mortgages for first-time buyers.
We'll have a big porch.
Covered with ivy.
You get low rates and a choice of mortgages. It's perfect for you.
Hey, I'll build a picket fence.
For the dog.
Stop dreaming about that first home. Talk to your realtor or call Great Western.
We'll have room for my mom.
Or not.
Laughs with funny man Jeff Foxworthy on the next Live.
Got something different for your sensitive teeth.
Well, you can take it back. My dentist wants me to use Sensodyne.
This is Sensodyne. Sensodyne with baking soda.
No pain. My mouth feels fresh and clean.
Sensodyne with baking soda. All you feel is fresh and clean.
I can't fall asleep.
I can't stay asleep.
Try Nitol Quick Caps to fall asleep fast and get a good night's sleep. Get Nitol Quick Caps.
Nitol will help you get your Z's.
Pam Dauber, Katie Seagal, 2 mothers who will do anything to get their stolen children back.
Mommy, can you come get me?
The Trail of Tears, NBC Monday.
In focus this evening, cops and robbers in the Silicon Valley. The tiny components used in computers are so valuable, they're being stolen from the manufacturers at gunpoint. As NBC's Noah Nelson reports, the police are cracking down hard on computer crime.
Yeah, everything. The score could be down and everything could be unloaded within 1 hour, within 45 minutes.
On this police surveillance tape, an informant finalizes details of a truck hijacking with a Vietnamese gang member. The plan is to steal thousands of dollars in computer components.
And do it like that? All right.
But the deal is really a sting operated by the FBI and the San Jose, California Police Department. When arrested, the bandits are caught with radios, police scanners, and guns, tools often used by gangs in the computer technology theft business. But this gang's conviction hasn't dented the rising number of violent armed attacks against computer firms in the Silicon Valley. This year, there have already been 50.
As business crimes go, this is the worst one we have ever seen in our history of being a major insurer of the electronics industry.
What the gangs are after is something worth more than its weight in gold. Computer components, manufactured here for a global market, hungry for the latest technology.
If we get hit again, then we would have a chance to lose the insurance, and it could be the end of the company.
Much of the computer industry labor force in the Silicon Valley is comprised of Asian immigrants, people working hard to become a part of the American middle class. The overwhelming majority are honest, but elements of organized crime are here too.
Police say Vietnamese gangs are responsible for 90% of the high-tech crimes.
In San Jose alone, there have been 12 armed robberies of computer firms this year. All the cases are being handled by just 2 detectives, Doug Zwimke and Tang Lee.
Each one of these boxes is probably $1,500.
It's not a bad
No.
thing to put in your pocket, walk away with. And the thing is, if you stop somebody on the street with this and say, whose is it? That's all you can do.
That's exactly right.
Catching high-tech thieves is difficult. Most parts have no serial numbers, making them untraceable and easy for the gangs to sell at a quick profit.
Typical example is, this is the main guy, the architect of the robbery. This is the middle person that connected with the informant. She in turn hires her son to set up a crew of gangsters to carry out the robbery.
These little gangs don't seem to die.
They slow down the criminal activities for a short period of time, maybe 3-4 months, and then come right back up and as strong as ever.
According to this gang member turned police informant, the gangs are highly organized.
You take time to study that's the company that you intend to rob. Sometimes you have inside guy, the guy that work for a company that you want to rob.
That's a lot of money.
Tang and Zwimke often visit the 24-hour bars where the gangs meet.
They'll hang out at the cafes and waiting for calls. Okay, we got a crew to put together a crew. They're issued the guns. This job is $1,000 for you. No problem getting personnel.
It is places like this where the officers develop informants and leads that help solve 1/3 of their cases.
This is what it should look like right here.
But while many computer executives praise area law enforcement, they say the gang problem is too big for them to handle alone.
Beyond the local activities for law enforcement, we're not pleased at all, because this is not a local problem. The security of high-tech companies, it's a national problem.
One that Tang and Zwimke see growing, as thousands of boxes of high-tech goods worth millions of dollars pass through Silicon Valley each day. Noah Nelson, NBC News, San Jose, California.
When NBC Nightly News continues, tax talk, a war of words over who may be paying more.
I prefer the 6 o'clock, so that's really a good time for me.
A lot of people are making the switch to News Channel 8 at 6 o'clock.
We watch it all the time, so this is great when it comes on at 6.
You have good reporters.
We want a news channel that gets to the point, tell us what we want to know, and that's Channel 8.
Well, Channel 8's the only one that has local news at 6.
News when you need it most. That's News Channel 8 at 6 o'clock.
I don't know, there's something about that station.
Only the News Channel brings you Sky 8, because only Sky 8 can bring you stories like these.
But as you learn more about St. Helens, she only becomes more mysterious.
Only one station has this commitment to get the story fast, to get the story first.
The plan for search crews in helicopters is to start at the summit and work around.
It's a view of the news you won't see anywhere else. So turn to the station where the news comes first. Northwest News Channel 8 and Sky 8.
Amazing!
That's not very smart.
Unbelievable!
I don't think that's possible. Is that possible?
All that food for just $7.99?
Wow.
Caro's introduces the Sliced Sirloin Trio. Generous helpings of tender sirloin, grilled teriyaki chicken, golden shrimp, and all the fixins for just $7.99. Plus, apple cobbler absolutely free.
$7.99? And they think I'm crazy?
Gordon Smith, an Oregonian committed to family and community. A businessman who rescued his family's business from bankruptcy, saving hundreds of Oregon jobs. As Oregon Senate President, he's balanced our budget without raising taxes, helped provide more funds to improve our schools, and fighting to crack down on juvenile crime. Gordon Smith, businessman, family man, an Oregonian with the courage to stand up for what's right. Independence, integrity. That's Gordon Smith.
Fireworks are expected in Washington this week as lawmakers lock horns over taxes and the budget. The White House and Republicans in Congress are already facing off. With the nation's fiscal future at stake, NBC's Joe Johns reports on taxpayers caught in the middle.
The White House claims that rent for low-income housing could increase by $600 a year if GOP budget proposals go through. That's not good news for Martha Carter.
Oh, it would be impossible. It would make our lives impossible. And we can't afford it.
And the White House charges that under Republican plans, families taking out college loans could pay up to $5,000 more in interest for students like Jessica Walters.
I'm here to get an education, and it seems like they're making it harder for me to get that.
A day after the president charged that the costs of GOP proposals add up to almost $150 billion in hidden taxes, key senators who are running for president fired back.
I think he's getting ready for Halloween. He's not even here for 3 weeks. He's already out scaring people. It's like he scared everybody in this audience. My view is he ought to work with us and cut the budget, balance the budget, and make life better for the American people, and not tell the American people false statements.
We're trying to cut government spending and let working people keep more of what they earn. And Bill Clinton is accusing us of raising taxes, and he's doing it with a straight face.
But the White House pressed its claim that GOP budget cuts amount to new taxes for those least able to afford it.
At the same time that they're willing to tax the elderly, tax working families, tax students, they're at the same time providing an $18,000 tax break for people who make $200,000 or more. That just doesn't fit.
Those GOP tax breaks are scheduled to come up before a Senate committee next week. The Republican agenda in Congress is about to face its biggest test against a White House that has dramatically sharpened its rhetoric. Joe Johns, NBC News, the Capitol.
A revealing insight tonight into the troubled childhood of President Clinton and how it shaped the man he is today. He told Good Housekeeping magazine that when he was 5, his alcoholic stepfather fired a gun at his mother. The bullet, he said, smashed into a wall next to where she was sitting. 2 other times when he was older, the president said he had to intervene when his stepfather threatened to kill her. According to Mr. Clinton, growing up in a violent and dysfunctional family taught him the value of making peace. When NBC Nightly News continues in a moment, Pacific time, blowing in the winds of the Southwest, a kaleidoscope of color.
The Rose Garden opens its doors to the News Channel for a special grand tour.
And you're invited. We'll take you just about everywhere.
The concession stands, the luxury boxes,
the incredible audio-visual control rooms,
the beautiful Rose Garden Commons,
the parking facilities,
even the locker rooms.
It's going to be the ultimate garden party.
And you're invited.
Friday night at 8.
And only on Northwest News Channel 8. And punched back up through the middle, but a diving stop.
What makes Steve Bartlestein's sportscast stand out?
Bart, how did he make that play? Jim, let me show you.
Steve knows that not everyone's a sports fan.
He's doing it again.
That's why he uses his expertise to make sure it's fun and understandable for everyone.
He's doing it again, isn't he? Hey, give me that back.
Of course, sometimes he gets a little carried away. Steve Bartlestein on News Channel 8, a sportscast everyone can enjoy.
Joe, you gotta catch those. You all right?
The Rose Garden won't open for another week, but Monday at 11, the News Channel's Golston Dart takes you for a sneak peek inside the Blazers' new home. Don't miss this exciting behind-the-scenes look at the new Rose Garden, Monday at 11 on News Channel 8.
Hear your favorite weathercast on your favorite radio station. Dave Selesky and Northwest News Channel 8 weather. Now weekday mornings at 6 a.m. on Better Country, 99.5 KWJJ.
She was everything a man could ever want, but I just had to let her go.
She said, darling, we can work it out. I said, honey, I don't think so.
See, the two of us are not the same. We're as different as night and day.
Now there's pepperoni in the crust,
I gotta eat mine the wrong way.
Crust first.
There's a new stuffed crust pizza from Pizza Hut with not just cheese, but pepperoni baked right into the crust.
I'm a little lonely, small price to pay for pepperoni.
Like I said, this place, it speaks to me. There's the ocean, the sand, the sky, the oneness with nature. All that the Great Spirit has given us, which is beautiful.
Yeah, you're right. The gaming center should go right over there.
Finally tonight on Pacific Time, we take a look at something slow, cumbersome, difficult to steer, that takes a lot of hot air to get off the ground. Not Congress, the hot air balloon. This week, Albuquerque, New Mexico is the desert dance floor for hundreds of them. Our camera spent the day at the 24th annual Fiesta, as it's called, the world's largest balloon fest.
Good morning. Another mass ascension day. First wave will be the 500, 600, 900, and 0 to 99 balloons.
Hot air. We burn propane to heat the air. I carry 40 gallons of propane.
I'm waiting for the launch director. I have to have permission or they shoot us down with the rocket.
But most of all, the camaraderie of the crew. I've got the best crew there is anywhere in the world.
Why ballooning? My brother got started into it on a raffle. He won a balloon in a raffle about 7 years ago. And I just started helping him and started enjoying it. And a couple of years ago, I bought a balloon, or really I traded for a balloon. And then I bought this one last year. And it's just relaxing. It's calm, quiet. Telephone doesn't ring here. We're gonna go right over these trees and just settle right down into the river. The mighty Rio Grande. Do the proverbial splash and dash. Hang on, hang on. In the river. We made it. We're out of here. We'll probably get about 2.5 gallons to the mile. Good morning. Brace yourself, support yourself, be ready because it will be a bump.